Good morning, afternoon, evening, whichever it is for you. I want to share with you something that I've learned recently. Well, it's kind of hard to say I learned recently because it's something that I have known for a while, but it's like, how do you do it? How do you do it again? When I was young, I used to dance ballet, and I used to do also later. I got in a folk dancing company, so I was super active. I mean, I would get up at 6 in the morning, be in school by 7 on public transportation, which means I had to walk many blocks to get the bus. So my activity level was so high, I was always going somewhere. School ended at 12, I would get back home, I would eat something, and then I would go. Well, at the school we would eat. I ate so much. I could not believe how much I ate, and I only weighed like 49 kilograms, which was like 110 pounds. But I would go and we would eat together with friends. If it was at the high school, we would go and have this huge torta with pork meat and avocados and all kinds of things, and a chocolate malt milk thing. And then at the other place, because we had classes at the high school for 3 days a week, and then at the areas where I was studying to be a doctor, so we were in the medical biological areas place for 2 days a week, where our classes were anatomy, histology, physiology, biochemistry, all these things that had to do with medicine. So anyway, so those days we would go, leaving the school, crossing a big avenue place. There was a restaurant, and we would have a Hawaiian hamburger. So this hamburger it was like this huge. It had meat, and it had bacon and cheese and pineapple. I mean, it was loaded. But I was always in the run, and I was always going. So I'm sure that my calorie intake was a lot less than my calorie outtake. Like a checkbook, how much money you put in and how much money you take out. If it's level, your checkbook is going to stay the same. But if you have more money, then you're going to win more than if you what you spend. So anyway, so keeping weight off was super easy. I didn't have to worry about it. And I would get on the scale. I had a scale in my house, and then I would weigh 50 kilograms. And so then I would go, oh, if I ever weigh 60, I'll commit suicide. Teenager, Of course, I never did back then. And if I got to 51, 53 kilograms, all I had to do was, I'm just not going to eat breakfast today, and I'm going to go running. And then I would run around the park with my cousin, and then the weight would come off. So it was so easy. Well, not so much as you get married, you have kids, and then your hormones change, and all kinds of things start happening. So I got married, I stopped dancing, I stopped doing everything that I was doing. I got pregnant. I was so sick with the pregnancy. And then I had a C-section, and I had to recover from that C-section. No money to say, I'm going to go to a gym. I mean, if I known then what I know now, I would have done things so differently. But anyhow, I gained weight. I never lost it. Then I got pregnant again. I had my second child. I gained more weight, never lost it. So I'm going, okay, I need to do something. And inside my head, I'm always like, I need to do something about this. And I'm not doing anything about it because I don't know what to do, My whole schedule changed because I was in Mexico. In Mexico, you eat breakfast, unless it's a weekend and you eat breakfast, but you hardly eat anything. And then for lunch, you go out with friends and eat a lot. And then for dinner, which is like at 2 or 3 o'clock, you eat. And my mother always had good soup, like vegetable soup, and your meat and your beans and your rice. So we always ate okay. And then for dinner, I mean, we didn't have dinner. We had what's called merienda. So sometimes we had a glass of milk. Sometimes I would come back from ballet and from the folk dancing company, and because I was wasted calories like crazy, I would make myself a strawberry shake. I remember loving making strawberry shakes because the strawberries were frozen and the shake was so cold and it felt so good. Anyway, just things like that. But now I'm in America. I'm eating breakfast on my own, cereal every day. I'm telling you, cereal is a killer of your metabolism. Just as simple as that. And then I'm eating lunch with my husband. And then I'm eating dinner with my husband and dessert with the dinner. And there was always ice cream, and there was always brownies, and there was always cookies. My husband is a cookie monster. And then he would sit and watch Jeopardy every night, 7 p.m. Jeopardy. And he would be eating popcorn while answering all the questions. And I was just sitting there going like, oh my gosh. At this time, I was at the folk dancing company on rehearsal from 8:30 to 10 p.m. And here I am. And I cried and I said, you know what? I'm just keep gaining weight. I keep just getting fat. There's nothing for me here. He's an introvert. I'm an extrovert. He just is happy to sit down and watch TV. And it's taken me, we've been married for 34 years. It's taken me 32 years of marriage to finally say, you know what? You do your thing and I'll do my thing, because your thing does not work for me. We've never had an argument in our marriage. Well, 2 arguments, and I could tell you what they are another time, but only 2 arguments in our whole marriage. But I told him, I said, you know what? I feel this way and this way and this way, and I feel like I need to do something more. And then he was like, okay. I'm like, he doesn't even care, and here I am with him. He doesn't even care. You're just like, yeah, go do. So talking to one of my, yeah, Sonia, you need to go and do your stuff. But anyway, so long video to tell you all this story. I hope, I don't know, it inspires you, motivates you, teaches you something. So after being so overweight, I'm not kidding you, I got to be probably about 200 pounds of no muscle, just fat. With 3 children now. My daughter was born when I was 36, and I gained more weight, and I got depressed. I never been depressed in my life. My mother-in-law came and said, Sonia, there's something wrong with you. You need something for depression. I'm going, what? And then I watched an Oprah show where she said, these are some of the signs of depression. And I went, oh my gosh, I am doing it. I have that problem. So I went to see my doctor, and I said, well, my mother-in-law said this, and then Oprah said this, and this is what I'm doing. And he put me on a medicine for depression. I called my best friend and I cried, and I said, I'm crazy. I need medicine for my brain because I can't function. I mean, honestly, I would get up and go, I'm going to have to go buy some socks because my kids don't have socks, or I will have to do laundry. I mean, it was horrible. Anyway, my husband was working on his PhD. We were poor as heck. We qualified for WIC. We qualified for reduced lunches. Our salary was like $32,000 a year with 3 children. No extra income. I mean, it was horrible. And in the midst of all of that, I found a little club that was offering gym privileges for the $11 a month. And I called my mom and I say, hey mom, can you lend me $11 times 12? For what? I mean, at that time, that money was a lot of money. I said, to go to the gym. She sent me the money. So I paid for the whole year of membership at the gym. And I went, no excuses. I already paid this money. I have to do it. So I started going to the gym. I had no clue what to do. But the gym offered 1 personal training session for free so that I could learn how to use the machines. And I went, okay, I'm gonna do that. So this amazing kid, he was probably 22 years old at the time. I was like 33. No, 30, I was 36 when Giselle was born. So I was about 37, 38, 37, yeah, 37, 38 years old. He showed me how to use all the machines. He was amazing. He told me what exercises not to do because he was going into physical therapy. So he was like, okay, don't lift heavy weights for these exercises and don't do these for your hips. And that stuck in me, and later I learned more about it. So anyway, so I started going and exercising and getting on the elliptical. So I got into this thing. Maybe this would help you too. I got into getting a book, and my author was John Grisham. So I would get one of his books from the library. So I normally need to buy books. And I would read the book. I think the very first one I read was The Pelican Brief. And then I find that there was a movie. So I finished the book and then I would watch the movie, rent the movie, Blockbusters, you remember? And so anyway, I read so many books by John Grisham. I stopped when The King of Thorns came out. I find that one kind of sleazy, and that's when I stopped reading. But I read all the books he had written back then, The Client and the movie, and the Testament and the movie, The Painted House and the movie, you know, all of his stuff. And by doing that, one chapter, I'm gonna have to read the whole chapter in the elliptical. So I'm going, I cannot read if I'm going fast. So I would put quite a bit of resistance. So it was hard to move. But I'm telling you, I read the chapter and I was sweaty and I got my cardio. Whoever tells you don't do cardio, they're wrong. Your heart needs to exercise. Maybe it's not the main, maybe lifting is better. I don't know, but this is what worked for me. I went from 200 pounds to 160 pounds. I felt great. I went down to size 10 on pants, which you would not believe it, but I was like size 18, somewhere over there, size 18. So I went back to size 10. So it was a huge difference. And I was all fired up. 2 years took me to lose the weight. It's not like I lost it in one day, you know. Steady, fast, going to the gym, doing all these things, lost the weight, fine. Then my daughter gets diagnosed with leukemia. And everything went to pots. I spent most of my days at the hospital. I spent most of my time just thinking about her and how we're gonna do this. Every day, a calendar with her medication, when to eat, when to take certain pills that had to be with food, when to take certain foods that had to be with no food, you know, when to do the dexamethasone to prepare her for treatment, when to take her to the treatment, what stage of treatment we were on. She was on, thank goodness, number 1 out of 4 randomly selected on those days. The kids that were on the 2 and the 4, they did not survive. So they took away that and they left just treatments number 1 and 3 eventually, because there was a certain medicine, I don't remember the name of it. It was 1 cc of medication that is what knocked her hair down, and you know, she only had that twice. The other kids had it 4 times. So anyway, I stopped weighing myself when I was 250 pounds. I'm going, I don't want to know how big I am. I was at the hospital. I was eating her food when she didn't eat. The nurses will come and check. And as soon as the nurses check how much she ate or not, and she was on a feeding tube, I would eat her food. And I would buy just junk food and eat it. I'm like, if I know now, I would have had my weights there and my mat, and I would have done Pilates and weights in the hospital room, instead of eating crap and getting bigger. Okay, so over 250 pounds. I don't know how much more, but awful. Size pants were like 24. It was bad. We did 2 years of traveling. We moved. We were The day my husband was defending his dissertation, we were selling the house and we were trying to move back from Lubbock to Utah, is when she was diagnosed, right there at that moment. So anyway, hard times. Yeah, it happens. Too bad I did not know what to do instead. Hopefully this will help somebody and say, you know what, instead of that, I'm gonna do this. It's hard when you're in that state of mind. I was put on the medication again because I got off of the antidepressant because it was just postnatal depression. But on that time, I got back on antidepressant. It made me so sleepy. So I was on one at night to sleep and then one in the morning to wake up. I was driving from St. George, Utah, all the way to Salt Lake City to Primary Children's Hospital. That was 460 miles every 4 weeks for 2.5 years. So you can imagine me and my daughter in the car driving all those hours one day, going to my brother's house, sleeping there, going to the hospital, spending the whole day in the hospital, coming back, getting back finally to my other 2 children who were taken care of by neighbors and friends, and my husband was working from 7 to 10. I mean, it was so hard. That was probably one of the hardest, not the hardest, but one of the hardest things I had to do in my lifetime. So stress, yeah. Well, we moved finally from St. George to Illinois. We lived in Illinois for 8 years. We finished her treatment just 3 months into being in Illinois. I was huge and I'm like, okay, her treatment is over. I don't have excuses. Sorry, I'm eating an apple. Because I have class. This is gonna be a to be continued. I went from 250 plus pounds back down to 177. But this time, I would say 177 with muscle, which weighs a little more. Pilates saved my life. I found Pilates while I was that huge, and that's what I was able to do. I wasn't able to do anything else, just Pilates, because it was laying on the floor. Anyway, I started losing the weight again. I got down all the way to 176, 177. And then to be continued. The point of this story, which I will continue, I will tell you how I gained weight a little bit again and then lost. But the point is, I've never been 250 again, ever. And I won't do that. But when menopause hits, it's another story. So we'll go into that a little bit. So I'm fueling with an apple to have energy. And I'm going to tell you more about that little webinar I had with the SCW ladies. Super interesting. But I have to go teach a class. It's Labor Day and I'm still doing a class because we don't want to not lift today, so we're lifting today. I'm going to record my class and that's the one I'm going to put in today. So stay tuned to the weightlifting class. Do what you can. Do it sitting down if you need to. But it would be all good. All right, take care, be good, be happy, and behave. So real quick, I'm just making a really quick video about the breakfast I had yesterday. Yesterday, I had 2 slices of turkey. Each slice had 43 calories, 5 grams of protein. I had 3 eggs because it has 70 calories per egg and 6 grams of protein per egg. And then I had 1 slice of bread, which had 60 calories and 3 grams of protein. I did my little calculations. So I'm going to show you the pictures of the breakfast, what it looked like. I did not count any of the calories for the spinach that I put on the eggs, but it turned out to be such a good breakfast. And it was 360 calories only and 36 grams of protein. I think if you keep it at about average of 30 grams of protein per meal, you'll be okay. You probably don't need any more than that. Unless you're a bodybuilder or a heavy lifter, you know, for competitions and whatnots. But if you're not a bodybuilder, and even then, you don't need a lot of protein. So I'll take a little picture of my calculations so you can look how lame they look. But hey, you don't need to count calories. Well, you do. You kind of do need to know how much you eat. But don't get obsessed with it. Count it once. And then you go, okay, I know what this is. And so then you make your breakfast. And you have 3 breakfasts that you've counted your calories. And you trade with the fruit you put in or, you know, whatever. But you have 3 different breakfasts. And you know you're keeping it above 350, 360 calories for your breakfast. And that's absolutely perfect. Okay, here it goes. So here is the bread. It has 60 calories, 3 grams of protein, 14 grams of carbs. The turkey, 1 slice, has 45 calories, 5 grams of protein, 1 carb. 3 eggs, 70 calories per egg, and 6 grams of protein per egg. And here is the full breakfast. So the full breakfast has a total of 36 grams of protein and 360 calories. So really low in calories. And then I take a Vivix with a electrolyte drink because I'm going to get on the bike and I'm sweaty already, and I think I'm probably going to sweat a little more. I usually don't do electrolytes unless I sweat a lot, which I will this time. And then the last thing is the Vivix. This is an amazing thing. It has polyphenols, and it just makes me feel super good. It kind of controls the bloating, and it's just a really good thing to have. If you want to know more about Vivix, put it in the comments and I can make a whole video just about Vivix. Here are all the counts if you care to know how many carbs, how many proteins, how much fat. All the macros are there. Interesting, you know, just 360 calories, but 36 grams of protein. Hey, good morning, friends. So I just finished my class and I'm about to eat. I ate half an apple before my class because I think I need to fuel up my workout a little bit. And half an apple has been working fine for me. Not half a banana, no half of this, no half of other stuff, because then I feel heavy and I can't really work out. But the half of an apple has been working perfectly for me. It gives me enough energy to finish my workout. I went to the doctor yesterday and then he asked me, so did you eat breakfast? And I went, well, actually I had half an apple for for my workout. Before my workout, that's all I've eaten. And then I came here and then I'm gonna go eat breakfast. And then he said, okay, we'll check this and we'll check this and we'll check all of this stuff, but we won't check cholesterol, triglycerides, because the half an apple will raise those numbers and they won't be accurate. So there you have it. Half an apple has stuff in it. Okay, so what am I doing for breakfast today? So with this breakfast, it's going to be a total of 3 breakfasts that I've shown you in my videos. The first one was a shake, and I told you all the stuff that it had in it. This is the second one I'm putting in on YouTube. And the next one, it's what I had yesterday, but I haven't been I haven't had time to upload the videos. Okay, so I cut a papaya. I got some Greek yogurt. I put a little bit of oatmeal in my Greek yogurt. Just one of those scoops. So just a quarter of a scoop of oatmeal. I don't use the whole serving of my Collagen 9 by Shaklee. I just use half of it. So it's just 10 grams of collagen. I put some pecans. And there is my breakfast. It may not look so pretty. How do I do this? There we go. So it has Greek yogurt, oatmeal, the collagen, pecans, and papaya. And that's gonna fill me up, I'm telling you, because the papaya has a lot of fiber. I don't know of any other fruit that has this much fiber. So it's pretty amazing. So anyway, and then the yogurt has protein, and the collagen has just 5 grams of protein, and the pecans have a little bit. Not to count much protein with the pecans because it has more fat probably than protein. I don't know. But anyway, so this is another breakfast that you can do. So between the 3 breakfasts and the one I'm going to put after this one, you don't get bored. You won't ever get bored with eating breakfast. And you eat the breakfast according to what you're going to do later. Don't skip meals. A lot of people skip meals and your metabolism just gets a little bit screwed up, in my opinion. I mean, fasting, I do a 24-hour fasting once a month, but just once a month. And I think it's enough for my whole body to reset and to teach me I can do this, you know, and everything. So that's what I'm having. After I have my breakfast, I'm going to have a Vivix. This Vivix is amazing. If you don't know about it, put it in the comments and I will tell you all about it. Have a nice day. Behave, be happy, be good.